I don't believe personally in one size fit all. Like that's just not how I am. That's just not how I think or believe. I do believe there are certain principles and systems, etc., that will work for many, many people, but it's still not one size fits all.
To some, boundaries are just placing limits. To me, it's where the limitless things begin.
Hello, 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 and thank you for tuning into the Boundaries and More podcast with Jess Abraham. I am your host, Jess Abraham, and today's episode is brought to you by Joyful Styles. Joyful Styles is a lifestyle brand that provides premium quality apparel that promotes joy and positivity. Joyful Styles believes how we approach a situation matters, and choosing to be joyful makes all the difference. You have the power and it's time to embrace it. So get your Joyful Styles apparel at joyfulstyles.com. That's JOYFULSTYLEZ.com. Let's go. Let's go. I am super excited to talk about this topic today because it's been something that's been sitting with me specifically for the last couple of weeks, and it's been important with the different schedule I've been having. We've been traveling a lot, just things just been going on, and it's just like, yeah, I've been making sure I got some rest things in there, just all these different things. Look, today's topic is find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. I'm telling you. I know many of you who are listening to this may have heard about getting a routine, doing all these things, the routine this, the routine that, and it's super important. I want to let you know, yes, you must have a routine, but the caveat to that, right? A little asterisk there, you must have a routine and a rhythm that works for you, right? It's not enough to just say, oh, XYZ is doing XYZ, so I'm going to just copy what they're doing. You are totally different than that person. You are unique. You have a situation, you have a life, you have things that go on in your life that may not be the same for someone else, right? It's not identical. So their routine, their rhythm may not work for you. Pieces of it may, but I want you to know that it's important for you to find your rhythm. Do what's required and what's best for you in your situation, your life. It's so, so, so important. And I just want y'all to get that. We're going to dive more into it. But I want to bring you up what kind of like spark this for me. It's been something I've been doing. And again, recently for the last couple of weeks, actually the last couple of months, been working through. But recently when I participated in this summit, I had, there was someone that put words to that, right? And how they did that was he asked the question, what are your non-negotiables? Right? Saying like, oh, I'm not going to be getting up at this time in the morning like everybody else is doing whatever. But there are things in my life that are non-negotiable that I must get done each day, each week, each month, etc. So I ask the same question to you all. What are your non-negotiables? Right? And I just want to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to CJ. He knows. Okay. So he asked that question and it took what I've been already thinking and doing to another level. Again, I just want to bring that to you all today. Find your rhythm. Again, it won't necessarily look like what the people closest to you looks like or the people that you know, or the people that you deem successful and you want to be like, etc. You want to emulate, whatever. Doesn't necessarily look like that, but just find the one that works for you, right? I want to just insert here practical tips on doing so, right? First, you can just evaluate what your life looks like right now. What's your current rhythm? What's your current routine? What are you currently doing in your day in, day out, daily, right? Life situations. What's happening? What's going on, right? First, evaluate these things. And once you do that, then you can kind of see like, oh, this doesn't work here. That doesn't work. I actually am better with XYZ at night versus the morning. I should put that in there. But, whatever that looks like for you. But the first step is evaluating what's currently happening in your life. Plain and simple. First, evaluate what's happening in your life. You can even write it out so you can see it and then move things around accordingly that really truly works best for you in your life. You may have kiddos you need to pick up at certain times. So somebody might tell you, oh, you should have did XYZ this time, but that don't necessarily work for you, right? So look at it on paper, on a notepad, take the notes in your phone, like I like doing, and just actually look at it. Just get it out of your head. Don't just think about it. Write it down on a piece of paper, type it out, or put it in a notepad on your phone. Make it real, real simple and practical, but you must see it so you know what's actually happening and you can adjust accordingly. Very practical thing for you to do today. Make sure you do it ASAP, sooner than later. Your future self will thank you. I promise. Right. So just to kind of like switch gears too, but in the vein of finding your rhythm in situations, right? This is a Boundaries and More podcast. There are situations when I'm putting certain boundaries in place. And quite frankly, the way I am and my personality, I'm like, just okay. I although I don't really drink like that, but I really, really like this analogy, and I use it often. But it's like straight no chaser. Like that's just preferably what I like to do. Primarily, it's just how I put information out there. I set certain boundaries, and that I like it that way, right? On the other end, there's my wife, and she's a lot more I want this, let's be cuddly and try to wrap it in the bow. I'm gonna tell you certain things, or I may not tell you. I may be kind of hesitant, or I might just let you do certain things just because like I don't really want to potentially hurt your feelings, etc. That's more my wife, right? And then so the funny thing about that though, when the situations that she don't necessarily want to put that there. Although I must say, let me insert this first. She's gotten a lot better over the years at doing this and being just implementing things herself and being just more forward and straight with people. But before she would tell me like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let my wife deal with that. Like because she felt it called for a situation from me and how I am to be just straightforward. We're not gonna beat around the bush and do all this other stuff, right? So that kind of was our dynamic before. Again, she's a lot better now on being just more straightforward with people and not necessarily trying to put everything all nicely wrapped in a bow and being all cuddly, because there's situations that just don't require that, and vice versa. Like there's some situations I know may be um, best for my wife to utilize her cuddly and like different approach wrapped in a bow type situation, and versus me just being straight no chaser because of whatever else. I just don't deal with it. Well, I do, but my wife will prefer to deal with some of the things because she, think I can be a bit too blunt sometimes. Her words, not mine. To me, I'm just like, hey, I prefer it that way because honestly, for me, beating around the bush and walking on eggshells and all these different things, that just for me, it's painful. That don't work for me. And like, so the quicker I get it out, the quicker I tell you, or even if of course, I think through the stuff and whatever, but it's like the quicker we resolve XYZ, the better life will be. I'm not trying to hold on to anything for like long periods of time because I'm concerned about hurting someone feeling or how they may feel. Like I'm hurting inside, basically trying to protect someone else's feelings. That doesn't work for me, right? Like I care about me enough to voice what it is that I'm feeling, what I've decided, what I'm doing, etc. Like again, especially when I'm putting these boundaries in place and whatever else is going on, because it's better for me. That works for me. I get it. Just for some people, they're comfortable walking on eggshells and beating around the bush and doing that different things because that's just, again, it's comfortable for them. They're not feeling like they're shaking any tables or rattling any feathers or any of that stuff, right? That's what they're better that way. What they think anyway. I say it like this, and that may be some of you listening to this right now. You believe that it's better to just not fully just be honest with people and tell people the truth because you feel like you're going to hurt their feelings or it's going to create some type of friction or whatever. But I guarantee you, long term, it is not the most beneficial thing. It is not. And if you don't believe me, just listen to some of the previous episodes to help you work through some of that and continue to listen to this podcast. And I'll continue to give you practical tips to work through that stuff. But I can guarantee you, long term, it does not work because what happens is there becomes resentment. There becomes things that you just you probably want to be around certain people anymore because you've allowed certain things to happen for so long. Your feet are hurting, right? This is my metaphor. Your feet are hurting from walking on those eggshells. You're cut, you're bruised. Like it's a problem. It becomes a problem for you over time when we could have just stopped this problem early on. And I get that. Again, not everyone has a personality like me. Not everyone do things the way that I do. And this is why, personally, when I coach people, I coach based on their personalities because that's important. Again, for the people like me, they'll get it. I say, yo, just tell them no, or just do this, XYZ, whatever it is, right? I can walk through it. Hey, we could like, let's make it happen now. Matter of fact, let's get off the phone. Let's get off this call. Let's do whatever and do it right now, right? That type of stuff. But there's other personalities when I'm working with them, we kind of take a quite different approach, right? And maybe for someone, let's just, for example, like someone with more of my wife's personality, it's really flip it and make it like, okay, so I know you care, but I just want you to care about you more in this situation, right? It's not about you saying no to them. It's really about you saying yes to you, to us, to all these different things. That type of like switch, because it has to cater to the person, right? I'll do another episode strictly on talking about boundaries and the different personalities, things of that sort. But again, if you work with me personally, you get it hands on, up close and personal, one-on-one type stuff. But yeah, it's a different way because I don't believe personally in one size fit all. Like that's just not how I am. That's just not how I think or believe. I do believe there are certain principles and systems, etc., that will work for many, many people, but it's still not one size fits all. Right. That's why there's different social media platforms, right? That's why it's different platforms used to create podcasts, and there's different platforms to even write a note down on a notepad, right? Like everything doesn't work for every person. It must be catered. And I truly believe that. And that's why with coaching, that's what I do. But anyway, I digress there. But I just want you all to like truly get this concept of finding your rhythm, which is basically doing the things that work best for you and your life. Again, it's not about copying somebody else. It's not about doing exactly the way other people are doing it, because regardless of what's being told in the world or around, or you must do these things to be successful, whatever that means, because even success is different for everyone. I encourage you to find your rhythm and doing the things that work for you best for your life. Right? That's the main message for today. All right. And I also want you all to think about right now, right? Something that you already know is kind of like contradictory to what you know that works best for you and what's being put out there that you should do. Right? Think about that now. I talked earlier when I give you the tip of just writing all your things out, but like just started formulating those things so that when you turn this podcast off, you can actually get to work. Start doing the things because this is the only way I believe that you will really see it and adjust accordingly to do the things again that works for you and that to bring you more fulfillment and joy, peace, happiness, etc. in your life. Like that's like the main thing that I want for you that I pray that you all have, because I know how what it's done for me and how freeing it is. Like I truly feel free in doing all the things that I do, the lifestyle that I have, just because I've set it up a certain way. And in the process, right, even now, like I'm tweaking things to find more of my rhythm, right? So I want to put that out there too, that you may come up with something in these next couple days that you like, all right, this is it, let's go, I found my rhythm. And then in a month, in a year, in whatever, right? Things can change. So I just want you to get that too. That was important. That dropped in my spirit, and I needed to let that out to let people know you're not married to whatever the current rhythm is or the rhythm that you come up with after doing this exercise. So find what works for you now. Again, we talked about in this season. Find what works for you in this season, and then make sure you're adjusting accordingly. It's I'm telling you, it's always a revolving process. Like it keeps going, it keeps moving. Like the more you learn, the better you get, the more free you feel. I guarantee you things will start to change for the better. You adjust it based on what needs to happen next and just go from there. So I encourage you all again to find your rhythm. That's really it. That's what I got for you today. That's the message that's been in my spirit. Again, something I've been working through for the last couple months, but a couple weeks ago, that part with the non-negotiables really, really hit me, and putting it in different terms that more people can truly understand. And again, that was the one thing that resonated with me the most from anything else in that particular summit. Like a lot of things definitely sat with me, and I took away and took action based on those things. But that right there, yeah, it stood out. Like, yeah, majorly stood out. So again, that's what I have for you all today. I believe that's going to be very, very helpful and life changing for lots of you if you actually do what's required. I'll leave it there. That's it. All right. So y'all be sure to go get your Joyful Styles apparel at joyfulstyles.com. That's styles with a Z, okay? .com. And be sure to have an amazingly beautiful day. But while you're doing that, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Boundaries and More Podcast. Again, on Instagram at Boundaries and More podcast. And I look so forward to interacting with each and every one of you. And also, yeah, let me know your feedback, any of those things. Like, subscribe, comment. Make sure that if there's something that you want me to go deeper in or expand on, just let me know. Right? I do this for y'all. Remember that. Okay. These lessons, these things are already in me, with me, things I operate on and do. But it's like I'm putting it out for you all to help you live greater, better, more free lives. Like, again, that's what's important to me. So, again, send me a message or hit me up, whatever. Comment on something on Instagram at Boundaries and More Podcast. Again, y'all go out and have an amazingly beautiful day. And be sure to be back here next week for more Boundaries and More with Jas Abraham. Talk to y'all then.